Welcome to the Worthy Women's Empowerment Academy, produced by Lions Vision Productions. The Worthy Women's Empowerment Academy is hosted by myself, Latia McNeely Sanderford, MSW. Most of you know me as the adversity expert, author of Burdens in My Backpack, producer of the Worthy Women's Seminar Series, a speaker, success coach, trainer, Union County, New Jersey's 2014 Women of Excellence for Entrepreneurship, and the founder and executive producer of Lions Vision Productions. The Worthy Women's Empowerment Academy is a series of online seminars designed to move women in transition forward. These seminars provide practical instruction and inspiration that you can apply now to advance you beyond adverse life events, circumstances, people, jobs, and self-defeating mind states that stagnate your growth. I promise you'll feel my passion and you won't be bored. Follow me as I empower you to be the best woman that you can be by helping you to discover who you are, where you've been, where you're going, redefine what you want out of life. What do you need to get it? How are you going to get it? And reinvent yourself and your future. This is your time. Your time is now. How badly do you want it? Let's go. The information being presented is part of the Worthy Women Seminar Series and exclusive intellectual property of Miss Latia LLC. Copying, recording, and or duplicating the presented material or sound is strictly prohibited without the written consent of Miss Latia LLC or Lions Vision Productions LLC. Before we get started, you should know that our seminars are recorded in real time. What this means is that while the bulk of the seminar is being presented within the PowerPoint presentation, a lot of it will be ad-lib, because my goal is for you to have an almost identical experience to what you would have if you were sitting in one of my actual seminars. Now, to get the best out of the seminar, you should have paper and pen next to you. You should mute your mobile devices, and you should really get focused and take this time for personal development. Today's topic is break the chain. Breaking the chain refers to breaking bondage from all those things that bind you. Sometimes those things are in the forms of people, jobs, places, states of mind, all the things that keep you stagnant and keep you stuck in one place. Breaking the fear that keeps you from feeling like you're worthy of having more. Breaking all of the things and breaking relationships with all of the people that keep you from assuming the position that you're supposed to have in this life. In this seminar, you'll learn how to identify your own pathologies. These are your own patterns of behavior, how you do things, why you do things, how the way that you do things keep leading you to the same places that are not progressive and that are not ultimately good for moving you forward. How to accept your truths. These are accepting those things about you, the good, bad, and the ugly. We all have them, and none of us want to talk about them. And for the most part, if someone even mentions them, we are in an automatic outrage. But these are us. These are all things that have to do with who we are as people. And as people, we're not perfect. So we all have truths about ourselves that we all must acknowledge, accept wholeheartedly so that we can honestly move forward. How to identify your triggers. These are hot spots. These are things, people, places, and things that evoke emotional response from you. What are your triggers? Are your triggers people? Are they places? Do they go back to childhood? How do those things impact you as an adult? And most of all, how do those things impact your ability to move forward? How to own your stuff. This is how to say, you know what? I am who I am. I come with what I come with, and I'm still worthy of whatever it is that I want out of this life. And holding your head up high, holding your baggage on your shoulder, and not being intimidated by anyone who tries to make you feel that you are less of a person because we all have stuff. And ultimately, how to break the chain, how to free yourself of all that garbage and assume your purposeful place in this life. Listen, you are your mess, your message, and your messenger. And what this means is that your mess really refers to all of the experiences that has made up who you are. We all have a process to go through in this life. And in that process, we are all going to have ups and downs. We're going to experience adversity, some of us more than others, but it all ultimately becomes our message. And what you should understand, and what I want you to understand, is that your mess is part of where you're supposed to be because your mess is your message. And your message really is how you've gotten through your mess and how you've chosen to deal with and move beyond adverse life events, circumstances, situations, people, states of mind, how you successfully navigate those things to get to a place where you could use those tools and use that information to help the person that's coming under you. That's why you can't be embarrassed about your life story. You can't be embarrassed about the misses of your life. We get into a situation where we everybody want to talk about the good things. Everybody want to talk about what they achieved and the high points. No one wants to talk about the low points. But the low points are really part of your message. And the low points are the tools that God has used you to bring forth to help someone else. And that's what really makes you the messenger. Because your mess is another person's message. And you have been given a life set of circumstances because you are strong enough to pull through so that you can have a message and you are equipped to be a messenger. Now, while we all have mess, we certainly don't have to be messy. So this is Mess Management 101. There's nothing worse than a woman who carries all of her burdens on her sleeve and is ready to dump at the first person that says hello. There's nothing cute about that. And because we're always going through something, because we all are going through something, you don't need to dump on everyone that comes your way. Stop hosting pity parties and stop going to them. Mess Management 101. Accept what comes with being you. Accept what comes with being you. In my case, I have the misfortune of having parents who were addicted to heroin. So I lost my mom at a very young age. My mom was 26 when she passed away, and I was 9. So I have gone through this life without a mother. And my father was addicted to heroin as well, and he spent much of his life and all of mine battling addiction, as with many people in my family. So that is part of who I am, and that's part of what makes me who I am. And that's what comes with being me. So I have to accept that. And you have to accept what comes with being you. We are all giving a card, we're all given a hand of cards, and our goal in life is to deal with them and to have the best hand with the cards that we've been given. Period. Number 2, make no apologies for things that you can't control. I certainly could not control that my parents had addiction issues. I could not control my environment. I could not control anything about my life when I was going through my worst times. But what I could control is how I responded to those things. So in my case, while I couldn't control what was going on in my household and in my family and all of those things, I could go to school because that was something that I could control. So I did all of the things that was necessary for me to achieve my goal within my control. So I make no apologies for the things that I can't control. Sometimes people ask, were you embarrassed because your parents were addicts? When I was younger, yes, of course, that's a part of growing up. But as I started to tell my story, the more empowered I got. And as I saw how people received my story and were inspired by my story, that's how I grew in my own strength. So make no apologies for the things that you can't control. And number 3, make your mess Your mission. My mess is to spread a mission of empowerment for all people, particularly for people who have been inundated with the harshest circumstances in life. The mission of my production company is to make media that matters, to talk about real stories that affect people in a real way. So my experiences I am now using as a mission statement so that I could bring awareness to children who are born in the midst of addiction, children who come from urban environments who have a myriad of trials and tribulations that they have to endure before they even get to a place of being able to be competitive. I have made my mess my mission, and you should look for ways to make your mess your mission as well. How to identify your own pathology. This is your pain and suffering. These are the things that keep us sometimes in a state of dysfunction, generationally sometimes, because hurt people. A lot of times we end up in situations where we are, especially in relationships, where we are attracting the same type of people because we are living out pathologies and we are living out patterns of behavior that for some of us have come down generation after generation. Speaking of patterns, when you want to get a close assessment of where you are and who you are as a person, look at your family. Look at the patterns in your family. Look at the patterns of behavior in your family. Look at how your mother relates to her mother, how her mother related to her mother, how you relate to your children. A lot of times, the things that we struggle most with are not new. None of this is new. If you talk to your ancestors, if you talk to your grandparents, you'll see that they've had the same insecurities. And sometimes those insecurities have passed down to all the women in the family. So it's important to be able to understand and identify patterns of behavior, especially patterns of behavior within your own family, because those lead directly to our own patterns of behavior. Relationships. Relationships. Observe relationships. Relationships that you have, relationships that you have with particular members of your family, relationships in general. If you want to identify your own pathology and you want to try to get to some of your pain and suffering, then look at some of the relationships in your life. Sometimes, and I say this often, if we really want to move forward and we really want to get to a place of wholeness, then we have to leave people behind. And for some of us, it may even be family members because not everyone wants to see you happy. Not everyone wants to see you successful. Not everyone is your champion. And guess what? That has to be okay with you because sometimes God put people in your life for a reason and a season. And what this means is that they serve a very particular purpose at a very particular time in your life. It does not mean that they will get to take the whole ride. So you have to identify the relationships that are healthy, that are fruitful, and the relationships that are not, so that you can start to rid yourself of things and people that are holding you back. Issues. A lot of times, again, these things are generational. If you look at issues such as obesity, where you may see three or four generations of really large women. That's how it is in my family. The women are big. And if you watch and you watch the patterns of behavior and the different issues and self-esteem and all of those types of things, a lot of times they go back generations. And a lot of times those issues are really points of which we have had failed attempts to heal some kind of pain, to nurse some kind of hurt. People use different things. Some people use food as a way to cope. Some people use drugs. Some people use gambling. People use different things, but we all have a vice. So it's important to you and it's important to your success to understand what your issues are. And probably more important than that, understand the root from where they come. Okay, ladies, so this is the part where you need to start taking responsibility for your own stuff. How to accept all of your truth. In accepting all of your truth, you have to come to a place where you are ready to scrap. And I don't mean fight because we should not be out there fighting. It's ignorant, it's ugly, and we are so much better than that. I mean, stop carrying residual accidental pain. What this means is that a lot of what you are experiencing, a lot of the issues that we have as adults, if you look at those things, they go back to our childhood. And in order to be able to put your place, put yourself in a place, put your heart in a place, put your head in a place where you can truly move forward, you have to scrap all of those things that you are holding in your heart that are not going to be resolved. Life is what it is, ladies. Life has been for each of us what it has been. Most of it, by this point in our lives, if it has not been resolved, it probably won't be resolved. So, the best thing that you could do for yourself is to accept all of your truth. Accept those things that make you who you are. Accept those things that have made you get to where you are now. Accept those things that have even held you back and be ready to scrap them so that you can free yourself, so that you can move forward, so that you can open your heart to a place of forgiveness where you can let that stuff go. If you don't, you are never going to move forward. You are never going to get to the place where you see yourself, but you've been yet able to get there. You are never going to reach a purposeful path if you don't scrap all of that old stuff and start anew. Listen, it's up to you. We may not be able to control some of the things about our lives that we have had to deal with. However, what we can control is how we choose to deal with those things. So if you want to accept all of your truth, then you need to stop carrying residual accidental pain. And the reason why that pain is accidental, because a lot of the times, like I said, we carry stuff, we are carrying burdens that go all the way back to our childhood. And we are holding on to that stuff for dear life. I don't know why. When most of it is accidental. I don't think that my mother ever wanted to leave me. I don't think that my father ever wanted to be an absent dad. I just think that they were dealing with things that were bigger than they were, and they didn't have the tools to deal with them. So I hold no ill feelings for anyone. I'm not mad at anyone. I did the best I could with what I had. And I made the decisions at times in my life that I thought were good for me at that time. And because I live that way, because I've chosen to deal with my adversity in that way, I am able to accept all of my truth and I'm able to use it as a message to inspire others. So scrap it, ladies. It's not worth carrying anymore. We are women. People expect for us to be emotional creatures. They expect for us to wear our hearts on our sleeve. However, I'm going to tell you this. If you want to win in this world, If you want to be a game changer, a high figure earner, if you want to be the boss, then you have to know how to turn your switch on and off. And you cannot allow the automation of other people to be able to flip that switch. Know who your triggers are, ladies. Know who your triggers are. And we all have people in our circles, in our lives, past partners who just do something and they flip that switch and they can take us into another direction. Know who those people are. Put them in their right, purposeful place, and maybe no place at all. Know who those people are so that you can have emotional control when you're in the presence of those people. No one should have control over you. You should always have absolute control over yourself. Know what those triggers are. You have to know and accept your own experiences in your own life to know what triggers you. We shouldn't have that many triggers. And if you do, you have to know how to regulate it. You just can't be a ticking time bomb all over the place. You exert way too much energy, put way too much energy into things that you don't need to. You need that energy so that you can develop business plans and exit plans and build houses and use your brain for great things and become the next president and all of those things that we're afforded to do now that we weren't afforded to do 20, 30 years ago. So know what your triggers are and decrease their power over you. Know where your triggers are. For some of us, our triggers are places. And this may mean that if you're 40 plus, you need to stay out the club. There's something more important that you can be doing right now. Now, am I saying that a girl's night out every once in a while is not okay? No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that if you find yourself in the club every Thursday, Friday, and Saturday night, then your priorities are in the wrong place. And if that trigger for you means that it's taking you through a cycle of haphazard, to say the least, relationships, then it is time for you to do something different in a different place. You have to know your triggers. And if you want to move further and you want to grow and you want to succeed, then some of these childish things we need to put away and assume our places as grown-ass women. And you have to know when is just not a good time. You can't be around here ticking and talking like a time bomb. So you control your environment. You control who's around you, who you're around, what you do, where you do it, and when you do it, so that you can maintain your emotional state of mind. Because guess what? When people think that they can control you emotionally and they know that you have a switch that they can flip on and off, you will find yourself an emotional wreck. Because guess what? Some people live to do that. But it's up to you as to whether or not you allow such control over your life. Ladies, it's important to know your triggers because triggers can cause physiological responses in your body. You could end up overwhelmed, overworked, over everything, which leads to depression. Then you're taking psychotropic medications for things that you don't need to be taking psychotropic medications for. Then you're sick because you're not eating right. You're not living right. You're not taking care of your body. You're not preserving your energy. You're not taking care of yourself. You're being everything to everyone and you're being nothing to you. Or you can end up crazy, literally, like pulling your hair out. because you don't know how to manage the stressors that are happening in your life. I am telling you, for as long as you live on this earth, as long as you breathe air, you will have adversity. Adversity has no descriptor, adversity has no discrimination. No matter what color you are, no matter how much money you have, no matter where you go, no matter where you live, you will experience adversity in this lifetime. So you must learn how to deal with it. You must learn how to maintain decorum and keep yourself emotionally and mentally intact when adversity arrives. Because if not, you become this girl. We all know her, and we may have even seen the movie, but she's fed up. And when you get to a point where you don't care, when you get to a point in an emotional state where you don't care about the consequences, then that's a dangerous place to be. And we don't want to be her. We want to be in control of our own selves so that we are in control of our own destinies. So, what are we going to do, ladies? We are going to own our stuff. That's right. We are going to own every single thing about our journeys, the good, the bad, the ugly, the indifferent. Because guess what? All of those things make us who we are. And when we stand in a place of conviction and we own our stuff, then we are strengthened and empowered by that fact. So don't be ashamed. Acknowledge that you have stuff. We all have stuff. The best way to relate to a person is to share your journey at the appropriate time in the appropriate setting. But acknowledge that you have stuff, because you never know when something that you say out of your mouth can change the life of someone who's listening. Accept the things that you cannot change. I know, trust me, there have been things that happen in your life that has laid a level of guilt and fear and trauma in you that has kept you stuck and stagnant. But trust me, sister, accept the things that you cannot change and free yourself. Free yourself. Open your heart. Forgive. There's no need for you to walk around with resentment. There's no need for you to walk around with unforgiveness. You're keeping yourself stuck. If you forgive, you will free yourself. Forgiveness is not for the other person, it's for you. So accept the things that you cannot change so that you can move forward. Embrace the experiences that give you a story. We all have a journey. We've all been through a process. And that individual process is what gives us our own unique story. And your experiences are who you are. Your experiences are you. They are your story. So embrace them. Hold your head high. Don't be ashamed. Don't let other people make you feel like you're not worthy because you have experienced things that may not be favorable. It's not how you start, ladies, it's how you finish. So create the music for your message. Let everything that you've ever experienced be a part of your ultimate message. Okay, ladies, so now it's time to break the chains. It's simple. It's 4 simple steps to allow you to break the chains. Step 1. Stop doing what hasn't worked. This is really simple. Ladies, if you continue to do the same things over and over and over again, but you're expecting something different to happen, then we all know that that's the definition of insanity. Stop doing what is not working for you. It's okay to try something different. No matter how old you are, no matter where you are in your life, you can switch courses. It is totally fine to switch courses and get on a different path and try to achieve a different level of success. It first starts with you just doing something different. Step 2. Know your worth and pack your bags. And for some of you, this is going to be literal. Know your worth. Every single person, every single woman on this earth is here for a reason. If you're still living and breathing, then you have not fulfilled your purpose yet. And every single one of us, every single woman within the sound of my voice has a gift, a God given gift. There is something in you, there is something that you can do that the person who may be sitting next to you or the person or another woman cannot do. It's your gift. You have to discover it. You have to know and understand what is unique about you so that you can come to a place where you know your contribution in this world and you know what skills and assets you have to make this world a better place. Know your worth and pack your bags. Sometimes you have to pack up all that old stuff so that you can get somewhere new. And for some of us, it may take step 3, getting rid of dead weight. That means that, ladies, I have been there. If you've ever read my book or you read my book, you know. I have kissed a lot of frogs, but I have a prince now because I never gave up on love and I stayed true to my worth. And sometimes you have to get rid of dead weight. And for some of us, it's these men that we have partnered up with. If he's not supportive of you, if he's not supportive of your dream, if you've been together 10 years and you don't have anything to show for it but babies, then sometimes you have to get rid of dead weight. You have everything in you that you need to achieve success. You have everything in you that you need to keep your family thriving. You are empowered. You are smart. You have skills. You can do it. Get rid of dead weight. Sometimes it's not always a man, but we know what the dead weight is. Sometimes they're habits. Sometimes they're other people. Whatever your dead weight is, you need to get rid of it. Because if you truly want to see yourself in a better place and you truly want to see yourself living the best life that you can live, then you need to be willing to get rid of dead weight. Last but not least, move forward and don't look back. This is a real simple set of strategies, but it's so hard for most of us to do. Move forward and don't look back. In order to achieve success, you first have to be willing to let the other stuff go. In order to achieve success, you have to first be willing to leave the past in the past. In order to achieve success, you have to first be willing to see yourself successful. Move forward and don't look back. And don't allow yourself to be pulled back when you have made a conscious decision to move forward. Well, ladies, that's the end of today's seminar. I pray that you were educated, inspired, motivated, and empowered to move forward in your life. If you've enjoyed this seminar, get one every single month by subscribing to the Worthy Women's Empowerment Academy. Click the subscribe button at the end of this webpage. You'll immediately receive another seminar to start your subscription, and I look forward to taking this journey with you. This is your time. You can do it, and you are worthy. So do it for yourself. Want to read about my life-changing story? Then buy a copy of my book, Burdens in My Backpack, for $29.95, and I'll be sure to personally autograph it for you. Click the Buy Now button to your right. If you're ever in the New Jersey area and you want to attend an in-person seminar, click the button below and register. I look forward to seeing you, and I look forward to your success.